as someone who is invested in the art world, how do you feel about the discussion of returning artifacts and art that was stolen during colonization and is now in museums in Europe or around the United States? In your opinion, how should we go about either returning those items? What should we put there instead? Where should those items go?
Return the items, and I don't care what goes in there instead. It's stolen. Every time I go to the Metropolitan Museum, I'm just like, stolen, stolen. Everything's stolen. I mean, it's very paternalistic to say, "Oh, you don't know how to take care of your own cultural history,
Mm-hmm.
right? Your own cultural artifacts." Like what?
Yeah.
Like, and no, it's stolen. It was that is looted. Like that, and actually, we're
Exactly.
thinking of doing an article like really talking about what looting really is.
I would love that because you're absolutely right. That's actually a perfect way to think about it because of anything to be looted. I mean, not only did they loot it, but they've been profiting off of it for generations.
And leaving holes in their home countries.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody wants to be able to celebrate their own history. You know, there it shouldn't all be in the British Museum
Mm-hmm.
or the Louvre or the Metropolitan Museum. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, the only reason why it's there is because yeah, we stole them and we exploited the people
Mm-hmm.
where from the lands where we stole them. Give it all back. I don't. I feel no need to prop up the glory of Western institutions with stolen objects.
100%. Now,
And then give a few Western objects to the museums where the work is being returned. Let's show the Queen's crown. They're showing a king's crown everywhere. Let's show Queen Elizabeth's crown.
fuck yeah.
And let's show Queen Elizabeth's crown in Nigeria. A lot of people, were died and were abused, and you know, for the glory of that crown. Everything in that crown, every jewel is stolen from somebody.
Mm-hmm. That's a
You know,
fantastic point because, like you said, it's like if a museum in the UK can hold stolen artifacts as a hey, we know how to take care of this thing. This is a part of culture that we are allowing people to experience. The same should be the inverse should be the same. We should be able to
right.
to share and profit off of their jewels and their culture and their history as well.
Well, especially because their jewels and their culture is
Mm.
mostly stolen
Yep.
from our places of origin.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Now, given your
And
experience,
people died to mine that gold and those diamonds and those emeralds and
no, exactly. Like, and that's that's what's really interesting. Hearing so many people who are like, especially these hardcore white nationalists and white supremacists who try to, compare the countries in colonial European countries and trying to say, hey, look at our architecture, look at all this culture, look at how advanced we are. But a lot of those people don't want to credit where those advancements and where that money and where that wealth came from. And so much of it came through colonization and through genocide and through the looting of other cultures.
no, I mean even the whole identity Europa thing that tries to go back to who tries to say, hey, this Greece and Rome, this was you. And I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, but the Greeks, but there was stuff that happened before that. You
Mm-hmm.
had the Egyptian dynasties.
Mm-hmm.
You
Mm-hmm.
know, you,
Mm-hmm.
you had Kush. I mean, and it's like all of these people got something from somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of that somewhere was Africa. Or if you look, or if you look at people who went into Asia, and pretty much, yeah, it, the white people wouldn't even have spices. They wouldn't even have seasoning,
Exactly. Exactly.
and they wouldn't have much more than boiled potatoes with no seasoning.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And it's so bizarre how so much of white culture really is this looting of other cultures and rebranding it as theirs. Like one of the examples that I like to refer back to is this notion of New American cuisine. So, which I always thought was funny because New American cuisine, New American restaurants oftentimes are just signifiers of, hey, here's a modern white chef and he's going to mishmash some, Asian and Latin inspired dishes, and we're just going to go ahead and call it New American. But yeah, so given your experience in the art world and the fact that you've seen how, quote, the sausage is made and how the industry works, I'm sure you've caught wind of all the ways that the art world excludes artists of color in favor of white ones. If you could oversee the entire New York art industry, what changes would you implement to make it a more equitable space for marginalized artists?
Well, artists of color are doing better now, but now the talk is, oh, well, it's just a trend and it's going to pass. And I'm just like, motherfucker, how am I a trend? My ancestors built this country. Mm-hmm. How am I a trend? I've always been here and I will always be here. There's some backlash where people are so used to it being a white dominated industry where they think now, oh, there's too much Black art. I'm like, how is there too much Black art? These are people who didn't have wall space for centuries in the West, who were, kept out of the art school loop because art school is like a luxury, and didn't have like collectors that looked like them. And finally people are beginning to get equal footing. And but if you notice, like I've noticed, like if there are more than two people of color, all of a sudden we've taken over.
Yeah, there's that assumption. It's like, oh, you introduced one character in your show. Oh, things are getting kind of ethnic in here. It's like, hold on a second, like you have like a whole cast of, it reminds me of oh my gosh, what is it, Bachelor. Terrible show, but I remember all the times the Bachelor would go, this is our most diverse cast yet, and it's like one half Asian dude, and I'm like,
or the Black girl used to always get eliminated like by the first round.
The first round,
and then they would take on like to the fourth or fifth just because they didn't want to look racist.
Oh gosh, yeah, that's why I could never. I can only have so much tolerance for like a lot of those reality TV shows. Not so much that I can't deal with the loud energy, so much as I can't deal with all the white people that are a lot of those shows. But I'd love to go ahead and pick your brain a little bit more, but we'll go ahead and take a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back.